on to our next presenter. We have the team from GoodMaps.
Hi, I'm Jose Gastenbide, founder and CEO of GoodMaps. At GoodMaps, our mission is to make the indoors more accessible, welcoming, and safe. We do that through two tools. The first is GoodMaps Studio, our online digital mapping platform, and the second is GoodMaps Explore, our mobile application for accessible navigation available on both iOS and Android. GoodMaps Studio takes CAD drawings and LiDAR point clouds and turns them into usable 2D and 3D maps. We then populate those maps with critical spatial information that helps the building come alive. Whether it's a restroom, a meeting room, an art exhibit, or the menu at a local cafeteria, whatever information is important for somebody to be able to access as they're walking through your space, you can create in GoodMaps Studio. That information is accessed by users through GoodMaps Explore, an application that was designed specifically for people who are blind or low vision. Information about the space they've entered is delivered auditorially, and people can engage with that information in the maps in any of three ways. The first one is turn by turn. You tell it where you want to go, and it'll take you step by step to get to that location. The second one makes you aware of surroundings as you are walking. In other words, if there was something that you didn't even know was there and you walk by it, our application will make you aware of it. And the third option is to use your phone as a pointer, and the phone will notify you of items that are in the direction that you have pointed your phone. All of this helps spaces come alive, provides the user with information they would not otherwise have, and helps enable independence for people who are blind and low vision. So what is it that makes us different? What is special about GoodMaps? We're not the only accessible navigation app that's out there. I think there are three things that really help us stand out. The first one is we rely on no infrastructure and no beacons of any kind in order to identify where the user is. Many of our competitors rely on you to install and maintain and replace beacons, which are cumbersome and are frankly not a good experience for the venue owner or for the individual. That leads us to our second differentiator. We have hyper-accurate positioning through the use of machine vision and other infrastructureless positioning tools. We're able to get to about a foot of accuracy if the user is standing still and about a meter of accuracy if the user is in movement. That is significantly better than the 4 to 6 meters of accuracy that Bluetooth beacons will oftentimes be limited to, or the 5 to 10 meters of accuracy that one receives through the use of Wi-Fi fingerprinting, both of which are barely even usable pieces of information based on the inaccuracy. And then finally, even though we are an accessibility company at heart, we provide more than accessibility. And we think it's important to bring maps to life, not just for individuals who are blind and low vision, but for the sighted audience as well. That's why we're developing an app clip and an additional sighted navigation tool that will bring the maps to life for everybody, whether you have a mobility impairment, a visual impairment, hearing impairment, or you're just like me and you want to try to navigate your local hospital as best you can. We're really excited to participate in TravelAbility's LaunchPad. We are grateful for the invitation, and I look forward to demoing our technology and taking your questions. Thank you.
I'd like to welcome Jose Gastenbide, CEO of GoodMaps. Thank you for joining us today, and judges, over to you.
Hello, Jose. It looks like I'm the one to keep starting, so I'll keep the tradition going. Andrew Garnett from Special Needs Group. So I have a couple of questions. You were mentioning the benefits of using your technology versus having the sensors. So for a venue, I imagine it's pretty labor intensive for you to actually map out everything. So from a cost standpoint for a venue, how does it work out for them to buy sensors that will automatically do it versus you actually having to go there and kind of survey the area?
Yeah, so it's actually not terribly labor intensive. We use a mobile LiDAR scanner, and attached to that mobile LiDAR scanner is a turret that has 6 high definition cameras. And those images that come out of that scan are geo-referenced because they happen during a SLAM process. And so basically our team is only on site for as long as it would take us to walk through that building with the scanner, which we can do at the same speed that you could walk through a building absent the scanner. The LiDAR technology has come a really long way in the last year or two. So from a cost perspective, it depends completely on the size of the venue. The upfront expenses are anywhere from as little as $1,000 upfront, and sometimes, with airports and the multi-million square feet, you're talking something in the five figures for the mapping cost.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, my light went out because of automatic switches to save electricity. Okay, well, thank you for that. So if a venue does make some alterations, something happens and they move some things around, do they need for you to come out and survey again?
No, the only time we would need to resurvey if there was something that changed architecturally with the building. You knock a wall down, you install a new wing in the hospital, something along those lines. If you're just moving things around, our camera-based positioning system is still able to function without issue. If it's a small enough area, what we'll actually do is ship out an iPad Pro and ask you to do just a 2 or 3 minute scan with the LiDAR that's in the iPad Pro with some easy software to upload that and send it to us so that we can make the update in the mapping data.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, so for, okay.
Go ahead.
You go. All right.
No, go ahead.
So for hospitality venues specifically, hotels, convention centers, those kinds of things, particularly multi-purpose rooms like a convention center where one day it's 12 meeting rooms and the next day it's 4 meeting rooms and the day after that it's 1 meeting room. How much adjusting needs to be done? Talk me through that process.
Yeah, so it's not terribly much adjusting. Obviously, if rooms are static in their usage, it's pretty straightforward. There's not a lot for the venue owner to do. If a room is changing, either because Steve's office became Mike's office or because Steve's office is now 3 separate meeting rooms, you would just go in, change the name, change the permissions, or if you had to, just draw an additional wall to turn one room into 2 rooms. And it's as easy as I just described it. It's not terribly difficult. You just have to make sure that the person with the right access to the mapping platform is the one doing the logging on and making those changes.
Okay.
Jose, what's your current product development phase? I'm trying to find your website or your company on the website. So are you at the very early stage, or is this already in process? Can you walk me
No,
through that?
we are live. We are live. We launched in October of last year on iOS and in December on Android. We're currently in around 22 buildings. As soon as my team is able to hop on a phone, we'll 6x that pretty quickly here by the end of Q2. So we have a lot of pent up demand, just waiting for COVID to be a little bit more in the rearview mirror.
And you say 22 buildings, primarily where, in which city in the United States?
We are primarily in Louisville because that's where our scanner is. We also have a smart cities project that we are doing in Huntington, West Virginia. So our second cluster of buildings is in Huntington, which is where Marshall University is.
Can you share with us your background and your team's background as well?
Yeah, absolutely. If you ask my mom, I'm a career mess. I'm a Peace Corps volunteer turned MBA and McKinsey consultant turned social entrepreneur. My team is a combination of really experienced technologists, and leading the way on the accessibility side is Mike May, who some of you may be familiar with. He's been an advocate for accessible navigation for as long as accessible navigation has been a thing to advocate for. Some might tell you even before. I think in a lot of ways, he really developed the space from the ground up. We have a couple of different blind or visually impaired members of our team who do a lot of the product development, a lot of the testing and refinement of the product.
So you've got Mike May. That's a good reference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so with regard to your financial model, I know you said it costs about $1,000 to do the survey or what have you. So what is your business model now and moving forward?
Yeah, so there's an upfront cost for the scanning and the mapping process, and then there's an ongoing subscription fee to keep those services running. And Andrew, I want to make sure that I wasn't being disingenuous when I talked about the cost of scanning. It's a pretty wide range. We were actually just selected to map the Olympic villages in Beijing in 2022 for the para athletes, and that's effectively mapping a small village. That's a almost $500,000 project to get that work done. Doing a coffee shop is, you know, a 5-minute exercise. So you can imagine a very wide range on mapping expenses.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, a coffee shop versus the whole Olympic village in a different country. Yeah. I can imagine.
Anyway, I think we're out. We've run out of time. So just thank you very much, Jose. He does not have a breakout room. So if you want to contact him, you can do so through through email after the event. Thank you, Jose.
Thank you, Jake.
Thank you for joining us today, Jose.